What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up, Molly? What up, your car? What up, Kay Cooper? What up, Josh? Bobby Cherry? Black Steel? Ezekiel Williams? Slan Sells Cars? Purple Haze? Distinguished gentleman in the building, Don the Architect, Mal Purple Haze in the building. What's going on, y'all? Jody, what up, Jody? How you feel? Yeah, man. The work is real. The grind is real. We is in here on a Friday. And we streaming on Saturday morning. All right. So I just want to make sure that I remind y'all that we streaming on Saturday morning. And we got a live stream tonight. So that should be popping. What's going on, friends and family? Swift Group says, happy to see you. Happy to see you too. James, what up? Sabrina, what's happening? Mr. Jackson says, currently at a trade school. All right. Keisha says, Anton got the distinguished gray. Oh, we leaving the gray. We leaving the gray on May 23rd. May 24th, Saturday. Hopefully that'll be gone. I'm spending the majority of today to gather myself, to get things together, to make sure that I groom effectively. I'm out here looking crazy, about to get my Diddy gray on in a minute. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I don't want that. What's going on, y'all? How y'all feel? What's happening, y'all? How y'all feel? Let me get these cash apps popping too, so that I acknowledge the people. Always want to acknowledge the people. Got a full show lined up for you guys today. First, I want to say what up to Jamaica. Said, don't forget me with the black shirt. I didn't forget you, bro. I got you. I just been slammed. Mike that dude. Shout out to Mike that dude. I appreciate you. I also want to give a shout out to my dog Spencer Campbell. Thank you to Spencer Campbell for holding me down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, y'all. Hey, before we get started and we get to the housekeeping, they said, don't they call well-off men with gray foxes? I think that's an organization too. Maybe. I'm just not ready though. Cuddy says, good morning, Anton. Listening to this while working my side IT job at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Get that dough. Shout out to the bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teej Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Shout out to y'all. It's going to be a good day. Hopefully, I can get out in the streets a little later on today, and then I'm going to get out in the streets on Saturday. I was feeling a little homesick yesterday, and I was thinking about going home, but I'm glad I stayed because I went downstairs and I was having a little bit of breakfast, And I was talking to the waitress, and she was like, she was cute. She was cute as hell. That neither here nor there. But I was talking to the waitress, and she was like, "Excuse me, Mr. Daniels," because they speak a lot of Spanish here. "Excuse me, Mr. Daniels." And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Are you?" She said, "Where are you from?" Whatever, blah blah blah. So we making small talk and we talking, and I'm getting the show together and all of that over breakfast. And it snapped in my head to ask her a question, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on with the taxes here? I heard a lot about Puerto Rico." And it actually reminded me of a conversation that I was having with my guy Aristotle. So recently I went to Atlanta, and I went to go kick it with Aristotle, and he was putting me on game, and he said, "Anton, we got to switch things up," and he was putting me on game about Puerto Rico and stuff. And this is why it's important for you guys to have a good network of people. And again, I tell people that networking is not going to networking events. Networking is leveling yourself up and then aligning yourself with people that is leveled up with you, that's going in the same direction as you. So that when y'all just having organic conversations, I didn't go down to Atlanta to kick it with Aristotle on some, hey, let's do some content, let's do this type stuff. I just went to kick it with him because I like to kick it with people in person, and we have been talking online. And I said, "Hey man, I'm about to shoot down to Atlanta for a day. Let me come and kick it with you for a second." And so we pulled up and we talked. And he was putting me up on game on some stuff, and I was putting him up on game. And then the lady, that I recalled that conversation because he was telling me some stuff, and I ain't gonna talk about what we was talking about, but he was telling me some stuff. And then the lady was like, she started telling me about the taxes because I was asking her through small talk. She was telling me about taxes, and it's a lot of people that is from the United States of America, and they move over here to Puerto Rico in order to save on taxes. And the tax benefits of being here in Puerto Rico is insane. So then I called Aristotle, and I'm like, "Yo, fam, tell me about that thing that we was talking about the taxes." And so he was like, "Yeah, man, you got to be over here at least 183 days and all of this stuff." And then that sent me down a rabbit hole, and I'm using AI to look up the taxes and all of that stuff. And I'm like, "Dog, do you know how much money I could save by leveraging Puerto Rico as a destination for 5.5 months out of the year?" Now, I got to figure that out. What does that look like? How does that play out or whatever? But man, I could save myself a gob of money. Nope, Crown, it's not 6 months out of the year, it's 5.5 months out of the year. 183 days. They crazy, taxes is high in Puerto Rico. Who lying to you? Not for people that's not from Puerto Rico. And it's not high. For the locals, it's different. For the people that visit or move to Puerto Rico from the continental United States, 50 states in the United States of America, the tax benefits is crazy. It's incredible. The tax benefits is crazy. So I don't know what you're talking about. Who lying to me? I went and did my own research. After I got the information from the locals, after I got the information from Aristotle, I went and looked it up myself, and I researched it, and they both was right. They both were right. And see, this is why it's important. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to give a general idea, overview of what I'm doing over here. I'm not going to talk about it, but this is why it's important for you to do your own research, and you have to be open-minded. I don't need to purchase a condo and rent it out. I don't care nothing about no condo. Why would I purchase a condo and rent it out? I don't like people living in my stuff, like Airbnb it out and stuff like that. Even if it's empty for 6 months out of the year, what do I care? You know how much money I'm saving by just having it here? Yep, San Juan. Shout out to San Juan. Yeah, it's a lot of money that you can save. So, really getting resources and money once you get to a certain level, really trying to figure out how you can preserve the majority of your wealth. That's really what it is. And again, I think that the information is crazy. Let me go ahead and put Chris in timeout. We're not going to do insults today. I'm trying to keep it cool so that I can prepare myself for the onslaught that I might have to give y'all on Saturday. All right. If anybody, listen, if I'm a dummy, then you are a straight up retard. If I'm a dummy, then I know you room 9 because if I'm able to get rich and sustain wealth and grow it, then that means that you the idiot. You the idiot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do it today. I'm not gonna do it today. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Yeah, this Wi-Fi is a little sketchy over here. I agree. Pray, D. Lord bless me with. Lord bless me with patience. Give me the patience of Job. Uh, but give me the wrath of Saul. You know what I'm saying? Give me the wrath of Saul. And uh also give me the insight of Aaron and Moses, but the will turn the tables over in the church like Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Oh man. Yeah, Puerto Rico, they be losing power and stuff like that. Is something wrong? Internet tripping again? All right. Let me switch my internet. Give me a second. Switch my internet over. Gotta make sure that I got some decent internet. Give me a second, y'all. I'll figure it out. I got you. I got you. Are we back yet? We back yet? We good yet? Got my internet right. I'm gonna just use the hotspot on my iPad, and then we're gonna go from there. All that money you make and can't get some decent internet. It could be Molly. A bunch of people on the hotel Wi-Fi at the same time. Let me look at this Starlink. Starlink. My. Let me look at this and see what's happening. Let me see what's going on. Starlink Roam is a portable internet solution that uses Starlink satellite network to provide interconnectivity on the go. Available in over 100 markets. Roam is a service akin to a mobile hotspot, MiFi. High speed, best for frequent and individual traveler with low usage. Roam Unlimited. Campers, travelers, or viewers on the go. Is that what it take though? Is that the thing right here? It take this? It's a big old unit though. Got a backpack. All right, so let me see something. All right, I'm gonna have to order this. Can't be all. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of depending on this hotel Wi-Fi and stuff. Dog, they doing Klarna? Did y'all hear about was it Klarna or was it Afterpay that had all of those people that actually owed a bunch of money on it? The mini is best for portable and low power applications. The standard best for faster speeds in all weather conditions. We're gonna get the standard. Why is it so big? All right, I'll get that in a minute. I don't want y'all to see my banking information. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and order that, and then we'll have we'll go ahead and mitigate all of the problems and the issues that we could possibly have as a result of it. Let me read a couple of more super chats. What up, AD says long way ENT. What up though? From J Knapp. Faith M says good morning, Anton and chat. Have a great Memorial Day. We streaming on Memorial Day, just to let y'all know. Fi Brown says, yo, AD, you should be over on that panel right now over on Whitlock's channel. Your boy Boyce is over there bombing. Yeah, I was supposed to be over there. Let me see what's happening with that. I was supposed to be over there. I didn't have the capacity though. Brandon Tatum, Boyce Watson, and more.
The ball all the way out to half court where Isaiah was waiting for him, and they reset the offense.
Before we do any of that, and I'm about to bring this panel on, guys, be patient with me. I just want to take care of our life purpose here at Fearless.
Yeah, I'll be on the next one. I'll be on the next one. I was supposed to be on it today, but I didn't have the capacity because I'm gonna just be honest with you. Like I was 100% tired. I was 100% tired. So I couldn't swing it today. We live streamed too late, and I had to make sure that I prioritized. Yeah, I'll jump on the next one, but I had to make sure that I prioritized the Anton Daniels stream first before anything. So very interesting. No, I'm gonna get the. You say get the AT&T one? No, I'm gonna get the Tesla one. I'm gonna get the Starlink one. I like Elon Musk, and his stuff is more reliable. So that's how we're gonna rock. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get it popping. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Shout out to Brandon Tatum. Yeah, I had to prioritize the live stream from last night. I'm always gonna prioritize after hours and all of that, but I'll definitely be on it next week, and we'll play it from there. I don't think Starlink will work for you in a condo, as you need a clear view of the sky. You should do a speed test, or a router needs to be replaced. Here's the thing. I don't need to be in a condo. When I'm at home, I'm fine. When I'm out and about, then that's when I need to be able to have my Starlink, because this hotel Wi-Fi and stuff is not as reliable as I want it to be. I don't know. I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna look at some reviews. I'm gonna look at some stuff that people saying online, and then we're gonna go from there. All right, y'all ready to go ahead and get started with the show? Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This first thing that I want to share, put a router in the window. Yeah, it's not enough bandwidth. What's not enough bandwidth? I have to ask y'all on the show tonight. All right, the first thing that I want to get started with, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, and then make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. The first thing that I want to get started with is I got some interesting topics for y'all today. So, a Detroit rapper named Skila Baby was targeted and shot. It actually wasn't in Detroit. All right, so I'll break it down for y'all in a second. But everybody was hitting me up about this yesterday, and it seemed like every time something happened, I'm not even in the country. But a Detroit rapper was targeted yesterday and shot, and this was the result of it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Breaking news tonight out of Redford, a popular Detroit rapper has been shot. Good evening, everybody. I'm Rupert.
And I'm Mimi Lang. Multiple sources telling Fox 2 rapper Skila Baby has been shot. And Fox 2's Jessica Duke now joins us live with what we're learning tonight. Good evening, Jess.
And good evening, Amy and Roop. We are out along 8 Mile near Beach Daily in Redford. And as you mentioned, we have confirmed that Skila Baby, also known as Trevon Gardner, a well-known rapper here in Detroit and really across the country, has been shot. Now behind me, you can see that there is some activity going on. The scene mostly cleared at this point. When we were out here earlier, we came up on the scene here on 8 Mile, and there was a black SUV that was smashed into the side of a building, and along 8 Mile. It was pretty unbelievable. Dozens of evidence markers marking shell casings. Now we understand this is described as sort of a drive-by, possibly targeted shooting. Skila Baby was in a black SUV earlier this evening when that SUV was shot up. We understand he is currently at a local hospital. He had a graze wound to the back of his head, a graze wound to his back, and he was shot in the hand. Now we understand he was alert as of about a half hour ago, is expected to be okay. Just a very scary situation out here, and police sources are describing this as a targeted shooting. But in terms of a suspect at this point, we don't have any information yet. It's still very, very early. Again, Trevon Gardner, better known as Skila Baby, a very well-known rapper here in Detroit and across the country, shot earlier this evening. Multiple sources saying that he had 2 graze wounds, also shot in the head. It all unfolded in 8 Mile earlier this evening, ended with his SUV smashing into the side of a building. Now, Redford Township Police are investigating. They got this scene cleared up very, very quickly, and right now they're working to make some repairs to the building that is behind me. But again, we are happy to report, though, that Skila Baby is alert. Of course, Redford Police investigating. If you know anything about this shooting that's described as a targeted drive-by shooting, you're asked to call Redford Township Police. For now, reporting live, Jessica Dupack, Fox 2 News.
Well, certainly, Jess, you hear about a shooting, you hear about something that may involve being shot in the head, and your immediate concern is that it's going to be pretty bad. I know that there are prayers going out all over social media for Skila Baby, but you say it sounds like he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I talked to somebody very close to him, said that he is alert in the hospital, surrounded by loved ones under high security. Now, this is somebody who's really in the throes of their career right now, hot not only in Detroit, but all over. So definitely somebody who the community is pulling for tonight. But we will, of course, stay on top of this one.
Yeah, he I don't personally know him. Like, I've never actually met. Oh, actually, you know what? The only time that I've ever met him, I met him on we was on the same flight together. So it was him. Where were we coming from? It was me, him, my daughter, and me, him, Rita, my daughter, and then me and Sada Baby was sitting right next to each other, and my daughter and Skila Baby was sitting right next to each other. And so we was on a plane flight on the way back or whatever. Oh, we was on the back from Miami. I think it was like New Year's Eve or something like, I don't remember what it was, but I think we was on our way back from Miami or Florida or something like that. I've only kicked it with him, like, you know what I'm saying, on a line in a plane or whatever, so on and so forth. But I don't know him personally. Like, I haven't actually kicked it with him. We ain't never exchanged information or nothing like that. But I will tell you that he is a very, very, very popular, incredibly popular, probably one of the most popular rappers in Metro Detroit. And so that, where they was talking about that, remember when I was telling y'all that Detroit is a dividing line, and I think I was telling y'all that about the Foot Locker shooting. Detroit is a dividing line. It's a long street. I mean, it's incredibly long. It goes from Livonia, all through Livonia through Redford, Southfield, Ferndale, Oak Park, East Point, Hazel Park. All from the west to the east, there's a whole lot of suburban cities. And then Detroit is like a huge city that's on the other side of 8 Mile or whatever, right? And then it's like the dividing line. So on the opposite side of 8 Mile, on one of the cities was Redford, right? So Redford is a city where apparently he was targeted and some people tried to take him out, but he is okay according to the news. They're saying that his hand was shot, the back of his head was grazed, and then something else was grazed, and so he gonna be all right. But let me just say this. He is it seemed like he one of the cooler ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't really project himself or get into that. He kind of like, you know what I'm saying, into the ladies a little bit more. He kind of like on some let me pop my stuff for the girls and all of that type of stuff. And that's not saying that he's not from the hood or from the streets, but he's definitely, you know what I'm saying, one of the more chill type people. He don't seem like he's trying to be like, you know, on some street type stuff and stuff like that. And you never know, bro. It could be somebody that you know. It could be somebody that's jealous. It could be a previous situation that you got into and then dudes is trying to target you and hit you up. But I guess the thing that I take from this is, for me, it's just a tighten up moment. I'm glad that he's okay. I'm glad that he's alive. We don't need no more negative nonsense is happening, nothing like that. But I'm glad that he's okay, and I'm glad that he's alive. And for me, I'm always going to make sure that I keep everything tight. I'm not going to get caught slipping. I'm not going to get robbed. I'm not going to be out here in these streets. Got to keep security on you. Got to keep police around you, making sure that you know what I'm saying, stay in the right places, keep your head on a swivel and all of that. And that's why I be out the way, man. Ain't nobody trying to be down to deal with that nonsense. It's one thing to get caught up if you like younger, you haven't made it yet, you're still trying to figure out. It's another thing to make it and be hunted. You know what I'm saying? If you made it and you got money and you running it up and you get the bag, it's a completely different conversation from a person that is in the streets and trying to figure it out, because the people that's in the streets that's hungry, they'll do anything. You know what I'm saying? They willing to crash out. It's a whole nother conversation when you got stuff to lose. And I don't want to see anybody dying. I don't want to see any national headlines saying that this happened or that happened. So, you know, I don't like that. He seemed like a positive guy. I hope he's not involved in nothing, but more importantly, I just think that people need to get out of the streets, man. And here's the worst part about it. I'm going to say the uncomfortable part. You know, it came from somebody that looked like him. You know, it came from somebody that looked like him. It's not happenstance. A white person wasn't trying to kill him. An Asian person wasn't trying to kill him. You don't see this with country music artists. You don't see this with R&B artists. You don't see this with K-pop artists. You don't see this, you only see it in this culture. And this is why, again, people have black fatigue. It didn't come from white guys. It just didn't. It didn't come from ravers. It didn't come from none of that. Most of the time, it's going to come from somebody. 99.9 out of 100 times, it is going to come from a person that looks like you. And so a lot of times we'll sit there and we'll blame the system, we'll blame the man, we'll blame everybody. But the culture is toxic. The culture is 100% toxic. Northside says he was on $1 million worth of game buying up the block. Seen a few of his interviews. Have you noticed that anybody that starts to buy up the block, usually something happens, they block get burned down, they get shot at, something like that? I'm telling you, bro, jealousy is rampant. Jealousy is rampant. When I had that conversation with y'all, was that yesterday? where I was talking about maturity and how we need to make sure that we get out of the mix. Don't be involved in all of that, and squash beefs. And yeah, if you have a disagreement with somebody, that's cool if it's just on some content stuff. But in real life, we need to make sure that we amicable. And even if you don't like a person, I don't mean that I got to target them or something. I just move my own way. Man, this world is so big. 9 billion people on this earth, 8.5, 9 billion people on this earth. And you telling me I got to see you? I don't never have to see you. When people try to bait you and they be like, yeah, man, come to my city and pull up. For what? Why would I do that? And I'm living a great life. Life is awesome. Things are going well. Why would I target you, a little dot? If you jump in a plane and you're flying through the air and you look down, you realize that you can't even see people. You can't even, depending on how high you are in the air, depending on if you landing or something like that or taking off, you barely can even see a car. They're like little dots, little teeny dots. The people are smaller than the needle of a pin from that high up. Why would I come to see you? Is it some money over there? Is it something that's productive over there that we can come and kick it about? Somebody said, oh, so you heard somebody last night. No, I didn't actually. I was actually streaming with my friends. The only time, listen, I'm going to say this and then we're going to go from there. We're going to go over to the next thing. The only time that I hear about people that say negative stuff about me is when y'all tell me. I promise to God, honestly, and this is how little I care about certain people. I promise on everything, on God, that if you never sent me another video, and I pray that you don't, because I don't even like to extend my energy. My energy is too great to be extending it to people that's dusty. If you guys never sent me a video ever again about anything that anybody said to me, I promise you I would be okay. I don't know these people in real life. I've never met them. I'm not interested. I'm out the way. If I ever consider you an enemy in real life, you would never know it. I wouldn't talk about it on the internet. The people that I talk about or I go back and forth with on the internet, it's playful banter, that's content. I don't really take that serious. For people in real life, if me and you ever really had a problem, I would announce it on the internet. I would never tell you. We would never be having this conversation. I would never try to incriminate myself. Why would I do that? It's stupid. So again, if you guys never ever sent me a video, that would be great. Unless it's somebody that I genuinely felt compelled to debate or go back and forth with, that I actually seen as a real rival that could benefit us. He could benefit from me going back and forth with him. I could benefit. But if it's all one way, Jay said this lyric one time. Jay-Z said this lyric one time, and I 100% agree with him. I 100% agree with him. Jay said, if I kill you, wait, what did he say? He said, if I kill you, you famous. No, if I kill you, you brainless. If you kill me, you famous. What's a dude to do when the streets is watching? Gotta keep, like he was talking that talk. I think it was on volume 2. It was on volume 2. If I kill you, you brainless. If you kill me, you famous. What's a dude to do when the streets is watching? What's the point? What is the point? It doesn't benefit me at all. Like there's a zero benefit. Some of these content creators, they've been at 40,000, 30,000, 20,000, 60. They've been there their entire career. They had one little sprint and then that's it for them. It's over. They're never going to appeal to a wider audience. People are not going to go to their stuff and subscribe and say, oh man, I got to stay tuned in. They've hit the peak of their career. It's downhill from there. The streams lower, views lower, money lower. They just holding on for dear life. Why would I throw them a lifeboat? The greatest insult sometimes, and this is what I want to tell to a lot of black guys that always get emotional and don't think their way through a confrontation. The greatest form of revenge is to let them drown. I'm not talking about nobody in particular. I'm just saying in general for people that is not on your level. The greatest form of revenge is to let them drown. Why would I put myself in a vicinity with you when you already in deep waters? You know what I'm saying? Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out. If I got 20 times more subscribers than you combined overall, 10 times, 10, 11, 12 times more subscribers than you on one channel. The only thing you have is to say, I'm real. I'm tough. I've been to jail. Let them promote you. Let them promote you. Let them keep you in the algorithm. I don't want to put them in the algorithm. I'm never going to put their name on my stream so that they can get to the algorithm, so that they can get some motion. I want them standing still in the waters, drowning. Let them rock. Let them rock. Don't interact. It's the only thing they got. It's the only thing they got. All right? You got to control the outcome. Life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react to it. My father told me all of that. 10% of what happens, it's like, think about it. I see these guys a lot of times, and when I was really, figuring it out and on the way up, I would mention them sometimes. But now it's like a little net. It's like an ant. You go to their live stream, it's 300 people in there, 200 if they good, 200, 230 at the peak of their live stream. Everybody in their live stream got a wrench. They trying anything they can to get motion. I'm not entertaining that. Everybody in their live stream, max 231. You got it. You know what? You got it. You got it, big dog. You got it. It's like a bug. I never even knew it was crawling on me. And then if I realize that it's crawling on me and I do like this, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? So anybody, if you start to win in life, forget the content creation, forget the streaming. If you continue to win in life, let them prove themselves worthy of a response, or let them continue to promote you and just let them die. Let their YouTube channel die. Let their content die. Let their emotion die. They're dead to you. Let them be dead to you. No, I ain't talking about Fatty. Fatty is my guy. What are you talking about? Fatty is listen, stop assuming I'm not talking about anything. Fatty is Fight Club alum. All right. Y'all ready to continue on with the show? Somebody said money doesn't keep you safe. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. Ivy League says, Eddie, I say this often, black people carry firearms and weapons to protect themselves from other black people. Tell me I'm wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. No. Listen, you have it confused. There's a different segment of black people that don't rock with all black people. All right. We're all segmented out, just like every other culture. Some people enjoy firearms. Some people enjoy going to the shooting range. Some people enjoy, some people are just protective of themselves and they always want to make sure that they own their P's and Q's, no matter what culture you're in. You're wrong. Thank you, Lisa. You are wrong. So, all right. But black culture, the thing that we celebrate the most, is toxic. Let's move on, y'all. So, what did I tell y'all was going to happen? Was I right or was I right? Was I right or was I right? What did I tell y'all was going to happen? I said it. I predicted it. I told you. I said, listen, This is not going to be the end of the women that are getting arrested as a result of getting involved with these escaped inmates. Let me say it again. This is not, I said it, and I don't think it's just going to be a third person. I think it's going to be a fourth person. This is not going to be the end of women, mothers, grandmothers, girlfriends, wannabe wives, chicks for the streets that find themselves getting involved with men that they're not supposed to be involved with and getting arrested and facing jail and prison themselves. I said it. I predicted it. I told y'all. And now this is what's going on. Remember, I was telling y'all, there's no point in a man not having confidence, because if these dudes that are escaped inmates got people that's helping them, what you mean that you can't have a woman in your life adding value into your life? What you mean?
And new tonight, another person has been arrested for allegedly helping an Orleans Parish inmate escape after his escape. That is as we near a full week since that jailbreak.
And with no other escapees found today, we're combing through video evidence to track their movements. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Devin Bartolotta.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. 5 of those 10 inmates are still on the loose tonight. As we learn more about a Slidell woman now in custody, she becomes the 4th to face charges.
That includes a maintenance worker at the jail and 2 other women also accused of helping after they made it past OJC's walls. Lily Cummings joins us in studio now with more on these breaking developments. Lily, what can you tell us?
Well, Devin and Sharice, less than an hour ago, we learned that 59-year-old Connie Whedon of Slidell was arrested. Officials say she was in contact with Jermaine Donald before and after the escape. They also believe she gave him cash and a cell phone. Right now, Donald is one of those 5 inmates still on the run. Meanwhile, bond was set today for 2 others arrested earlier this week. I spent time this evening looking deeper into their connection to the inmates they helped.
2 women have been arrested for helping Orleans Parish inmates after they escaped nearly a week ago. Our investigators learned 38-year-old Corvante Baptiste of Slidell is the aunt of escapee Corey Boyd. Investigators say Baptiste was in contact with Boyd via phone and social media and helped him get food while he was hiding. Boyd was recaptured Tuesday evening in the 1400 block of Iberville. We've now learned that the apartment he was found in belonged to his grandmother, but she claims she didn't know he was there. Boyd's grandmother has not been arrested and so far faces no charges. Meanwhile, 32-year-old Courtney Harris's connection to the 2 inmates she's accused of helping remains a mystery. State police say she drove them around New Orleans and was in contact with one over the phone. Court records show she helped Leo Tate and Jermaine Donald, who are still on the run. Now authorities say both women are booked in the Plaquemines Parish Jail. On Thursday, via video call, they learned their bonds: $1 million for Baptiste and $2.5 million for Harris.
Now you in jail. You going to prison. All because you decided to accept a phone call of a person that you shouldn't have been associated with in the first place. Y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn. Now you ain't getting out of jail. You gonna be there. You gonna face trial. They gonna press charges. They got evidence. Do you know that these people don't love you? They don't love you. Anton, what does that mean? That means that they know that if they call you and you help them and they get caught, that you're going to be facing jail and prison and they're not going to have nothing to do with you. Ain't going to make no difference. So they decided to get in touch with you. You picked up the phone. You didn't know that they was going to be looking at their friends, families, relatives, girlfriends, associates, anybody that was rocking out with them. You decided to let them get in your car. You drove them around, fed them, housed them, clothed them. You know grandma knew that to do it. How did grandma know that he was there? You telling me that he went over grandma's house and he went in the house and he was chilling and you didn't know that he was there. You didn't know that he was hanging out. Grandma was confused. Grandma knew. But grandma been enabling him to be the bad boy that he is. Grandma and mama been enabling him to be the bad boy that he is for his entire life. And that's why he went over there. He knew that you was gonna get it, mama's baby. Oh, Jesus. This Jesus. Help him, Lord. Help him, Lord, help him. Now you can't even get out of jail.
They face 1 felony count each of accessories after the fact.
And we are working to learn more about that latest arrest. But for anyone convicted of accessory after the fact, they could be fined up to $500 and face up to 5 years in prison.
Really, thank you. Meanwhile, for investigators, it is a race to sift through this evidence, hoping something will hold clues to where those inmates who are still out might be.
Yeah, from street cameras to residential surveillance, our Eleanor Tabone puts together a timeline of the movements we know so far.
Authorities say at 12:22 in the morning, inmates were seen jarring one of the jail sliding doors open. At 12:43 a.m., the inmates entered that cell. 10 inmates escaped through a hole in the wall behind a toilet. Pictures show what the cell looked like prior to the escape and what it looked like after.
I still don't understand the whole.
At 1 a.m., they were caught on camera exiting the Orleans Parish Justice Centre using an adjacent loading dock door. They then went down a road behind the OPSO building. At 1:19 a.m., they were seen scaling the fence along I-10. After breaking out of jail, scaling barbed wire fencing, jumping a concrete barrier and crossing multiple lanes of interstate traffic, the inmates then made it to this side. Authorities say they then shed their clothes and made their way through the city. Just after 2 a.m., these 3 inmates were seen walking down the 800 block of Barone Street in the CBD.
Yeah, cut right there.
You hear them say, "Cut right there." And they turn down an alleyway, heading away from Barone. Another angle shows the team walking away from the camera down the alley. The alley they're walking down ends at Plaza Tower. Just before 10 a.m., 9 hours after the escape, 2 inmates were seen on Project Nola's facial recognition cameras in the French Quarter. One of them, Kendall Miles. Around 11:30 a.m., surveillance shows Miles being apprehended after he was found hiding under a car at the Hotel Monteleone parking garage. 5 inmates are still on the run. If you see them, authorities say don't approach them. Instead, call 911 or call Crime Stoppers.
This is unfortunate. Let me see if I can get a photo of the woman that helped. The third woman that's oh, I got it. Okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. Finally got the picture. There she is. Ooh-wee. Welcome, welcome, welcome to prison. Never been to prison before? Well, it's the first time for everything. Never been to prison before? It is definitely a first time for everything, ma'am.
So another person arrested overnight in Louisiana for allegedly helping a group of inmates break out of that Louisiana jail. And as of this morning, at least 5 of them are still on the loose. Nate Foy is back in New Orleans with the latest details. Nate, what do you know?
It's all women that's getting arrested.
Hey, Lawrence, good morning. So there are a lot of questions as we begin the second week of this manhunt. You mentioned 5 dangerous fugitives remain on the run. And we learned yesterday from the DA, Jason Williams, that the sheriff's office never even requested that the crime scene be processed after the escape. So that certainly raised a lot of eyebrows. And yesterday, the DA's office and NOPD crime scene investigators did exactly that at the jail. And you also mentioned there was another arrest. However, unfortunately, not one of the 5 remaining fugitives. Take a look at the mugshot here. This is Connie Whedon. She's accused of contacting fugitive Jermaine Donald, who's accused of murder before and after the escape. Authorities say that she also sent him cash on a phone app. She's now the 3rd woman arrested after the escape. A source tells Fox the other 2 are girlfriends of 2 of the fugitives. Meanwhile, the DA talked about the mistakes made by the sheriff's office and the.
So, shout out to all of the black women going to jail for the men that's doing the worst crimes in the community. I will usually have the soundboard where I hit the thing. Shout out to all of the women that are going to jail for the men that are doing the worst in the community. Connie, Corvante, and Courtney, all C's. All right, Quentin, I don't know if you in the chat or not. Make sure you put on the list, stay away from women with all C's. The names start with a C. If your names start with a C, then we stand away from you. Connie, Corvante, and Courtney, all of them. Women whose names start with a C, be careful of them. I didn't tell these women to go and do it. Flight attendants, overnight nurses, dancers, women whose names start with a C, women with purple hair, red and purple in their hair at the same time. All of those type of women, be careful. You might want to vet them out. Y'all said Clarissa. Oh, yeah. Stay away from women whose names start with C, y'all.
Meanwhile, the DA talked about the mistakes made by the sheriff's office and the lack of communication immediately after the escape.
Time is of the essence in terms of catching escaped fugitives. If they escape at 12:30, immediately upon awareness of that, we need to make sure that the public is notified, the media is notified, because if that had happened, in all likelihood, all 10 of these individuals would be in custody
Cassie?
by now.
Y'all said Cassie. Telling you, man, listen. Women whose names start with a C is toxic. Cassie, yep. Corvante, Connie, Clarissa. Yes. All women whose names start with a C, just put a little bit of extra vetting. I'm not saying that y'all all bad. Just vet them appropriately.
Lawrence, how about this? The DA is also asking the sheriff and her employees to voluntarily submit fingerprints and DNA samples as they conduct a criminal investigation into the escape. Take a look. These 5 inmates remain on the run. 3 of them are murder suspects or convicts. There's a $20,000 reward for information leading to their arrest. And investigators believe that those 5 guys are still here in the city of New Orleans. They're confident. They say they have strong intelligence on them. However, it's been since Tuesday night that they've made an arrest on one of these escaped inmates.
So, 4 days in, they only caught half of the inmates. One of the reasons that they've only caught half of the inmates is because, you know why? Because the women. It's our women. It's our women. How much are they offering? 20,000? Oh man. Hold on, wait. What's the reward? What's the reward for escaped inmates? Louisiana. Is there a reward? Reward increase 7. FBI is offering 10,000 per inmate instead of the 5,000 previously announced. Oh, that's not enough. FBI reward is in addition to the $5,000 rewards of the. Okay, so that's 15. So we up to 17,000. It looked like it's $17,000. 3 sources, $17,000. All right, you get 10,000 from the FBI, 5,000 from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF, and then you get 2,000 from Crime Stoppers. 17,000. Throw another 8 on there, and then we good. Throw another 8 on there, and then we're gonna start getting to it. $17 ain't enough. It's not enough for me to go and hunt them down. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see something, double check, make sure we acknowledging everybody that's in the chat. see what we got here. Shout out to Bryant Smith says, I don't get paid to argue with you. Nah. Hashtag AR Smitty. AR Smitty, I've looked at it and I don't see you banned. Is it another name that you under or something like that? I might have to look that up again. Your lawyer, Molly, said to check you out. Ryan Smith says, men chasing boxing, women is chasing commissary. Messy Mathematician says, people that are jealous of you will see you walk on water and say it's because you can't swim. Ignore the negative and keep building. Facts, Messy. Black women are obsessed with control. That's why they choose guys like this. Not only are they who they pick, most black women are deceptive and scammers. Wow, that's some major accusations. America needs to bring back shame, shaming, and shame. Shout out to P. Shank says, hey, Anton in the Millionaire Morning Show. What's up, P. Shank? Messy Mathematician says, my Grammy will tell on all of us with no remorse. I ain't going to jail for nobody. Max says, sewage has to escape. They expose the passageway by tearing a hole away from the wall, increasing the hole size. It still don't look like it's big enough to get through. Abe the Hunter says, let's bet it's 5 more women and 1 simp. Facts. T. Sam says, if there's a reward, I'm calling. Brandon Burke says, woman whose mom wanted to be creative in the spelling of a regular name, like Courtney instead of Courtney, stay away. Yeah, I feel you on that. I've seen a lot of women like that also. All right, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Cynthia Haynes says, Sir Anton, but many of our black men who are incarcerated or deceased are wearing dresses. Facts. I can't fault my sister who was looking for unconditional love. Let's be clear, I do not agree with criminal acts. Is it that bad out here? Do y'all think it's that bad out here? Do y'all think it's that bad out here? That women have gotten that desperate? Because in my mind, right, the way that my mind works, I look at it from this lens. I say, how are everybody saying that nobody is available, but it's a whole bunch of people that's available that's picking people that's clearly bad and not available? You got guys on one side that's saying, hey man, we're looking for love and we can't find no good people. And then you got women on the other side said, hey man, we looking for love, but I can't find no good men. Why don't those people just all go together? Why don't people that are single over here with no issues, supposedly, or 1 or 2 issues, we could take those out of it. We could fix those. Get with these people over here and just say, why won't people just get together? You said there's plenty of good men out here, women is just in their fairy tales. Then why are they picking convicts? Why are they becoming pen pals? I don't know. I'm confused. Anyways, let's get on with the show. So Harvard, I can't figure this out for the life of me, but we're going to get there. So Harvard, Trump is focused on revoking Harvard's international students. So basically preventing them from being able to have international students come over and be on their campus. Let's mine this out, y'all. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Tonight in President Trump's battle with Harvard, Homeland Security now banning the university from enrolling foreign students. Thousands of students could be forced to transfer now or leave the country. Here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, a dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's ongoing battle with Harvard. The Department of Homeland Security telling the university it can no longer enroll foreign students, and existing foreign students must transfer or lose their legal status. Adding, let this serve as a warning to all universities and academic institutions across the country. DHS accuses Harvard of perpetuating an unsafe campus environment that is hostile to Jewish students and employing racist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Accusations Harvard denies. The move tonight leaving nearly 7,000 international students, a quarter of Harvard's student body, in limbo.
They're trying to punish an institution in the United States for not bending to its political will and doing it by attacking international students.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem saying Harvard now has 72 hours to comply with the administration's demands if they want to reverse the ban.
We've asked them for the backgrounds on students that attend their university, their criminal activity on campus, off of campus, any video or audio footage they have of this violent activity, and they have just simply not complied.
Harvard calls the ban unlawful, saying this retaliatory action threatens serious harm to the Harvard community and our country. Harvard is already suing the administration after it froze $2.2 billion in federal funding to the university, after Harvard refused to comply with the government's demands that they change their curriculum, admissions policies, and end all DEI programs.
Let me tell you something, bro. The last thing that I want a problem with is the federal government. It's the last thing. Bro, I'd rather take my chance on the streets. I'd rather take my chance on the streets with these dusties. I know I can survive on the streets. I don't care how big your endowment is. Harvard's endowment is what, $53 billion? Shout out to Class E. I was supposed to do a video. I am swamped, bro. Happy birthday to my dog, Class E Beats. I am going to personally record a video and make sure that I send that to you over the weekend. So that I can acknowledge you. Shout out to my guy. I love you. I appreciate you, Classy. I don't care how much your endowment is. If you want to hurt somebody, then you got to hit them in their pocketbook. There's a lot of universities, not just Harvard, but a lot of universities. Jay Reed says Harvard is going to fight that. Okay, good luck. They got to have big lawyers. They may lose. Because you got to remember, these people are not legal U.S. citizens of the United States of America. They're over here on a student visa that can be approved or revoked at any time based off of whatever it is that the federal government says. You guys are missing the whole point. You think that, okay, I always like to bring this back down from a C student's perspective. And the best way for me to explain this is to go back into the whole lawsuits, relationships, men versus women conversation, right? So celebrities get sued on a regular basis by people that are looking to come up off of them. It's a whole industry behind it. Now, some people will say, how come celebrities don't always fight the lawsuits? Because the lawsuits aren't really big, but it's a come up for the people that's suing them. And sometimes the celebrities settle. Well, why would they settle? Well, sometimes it costs them more in legal fees. Sometimes it's a possibility that they can get a liberal judge and they'll lose. Sometimes they just don't want to go through damaging a reputation because it'll prevent them from being able to do future film work. I'll look at Johnny Depp, right? Johnny Depp is still paying the price of the accusations from Amber Heard, and he's probably lost hundreds of millions of dollars just from the Pirates of the Caribbean alone. Meanwhile, Amber Heard was still in Aquaman, right? And so my point is that sometimes there is a negative impact, regardless of what goes on, that if you don't comply, and I'm using this to illustrate a point that some fights are not worth fighting. And let's just say, for example, that Harvard, right? Harvard may feel like, oh man, we still want to keep these woke diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff that's in there, right? All right, I'll check that out. Thank you, Yukar. All right, I'll check that out. Sometimes it goes by, and Johnny won the case. You're right, Kay Cooper. But think about the reputational damage that comes to Harvard now. Think about if an international student of a rich parent, rich backgrounds, and remember, that's a quarter of their student body. Do you know that one of the reasons why Harvard wants international students as a quarter of the student body is because it's way more money per credit hour than somebody that is in district, out of district versus international students. They pay a ungodly amount of money to attend some of the most prestigious American universities. So now their parents and future parents and stuff like that, they are considering something different. They say, you know what? Because international parents and stuff like that, they don't care about what you fighting about here in the United States of America. They care about the safety, the education, and whether or not their child is going to be able to attend the university of their choice. So now your reputation is damaged. Now you're fighting the good fight for diversity, equity, and inclusion for most people who it won't even affect on your campus because you just wanted to, you listened to Obama, and Obama said, yeah, use your $53 billion endowment that you've accumulated to fight the good fight. Now, 25% of your students could possibly risk being deported if they don't switch over to another major university or identify themselves with the federal government. That's what you wanted to fight. This is the fight that you chose to rock out with. Is this what you chose to rock out with? This is the dumbest fight that I've ever seen in my entire life from a university. I've seen it happen on, you know what? Columbia, they complied. University of Michigan, they complied. The Big Ten schools, they starting to rethink their whole alliance. Remember when Rachel Maddow said, yeah, and the Big Ten schools are going to all come together and they're going to fight together. You can't beat the federal government, dog. You can't beat the feds. I don't care if you are. Bro, trillion-dollar companies like Apple, they is trying to comply. They trying to figure it out. You know what, Trump? Yep, we'll invest $500 billion inside of the United States of America. Yep, we'll do it. SoftBank, the UAE, Qatar, the Saudis, oil-rich countries are investing in the United States of America to make sure that they stay in the good graces of the United States. You think that your little, because y'all think that this means something. Do you think that your little $53 billion endowment and you've been getting a lot of your money from international students that they got control over and the judges is ruling in Trump's favor? And see, it'll be different if there was actually protesting something meaningful, because they don't want to comply with diversity, equity, eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion, and instead they want to get people in off merit. It's not the fight. I'm gonna get it from CNN's perspective, because I definitely want to get it from multiple different perspectives. You know, they listen, and these places like CNN and stuff, they don't love y'all. They doing it for the ratings. They just want a hot story so they can keep their numbers up so that they can get the advertisers. CNN is not going to make sure that they come to y'all aid at all.
Is hitting back at the Trump administration with a new lawsuit following the government's ban on international admissions to the university. The school now asking a judge to immediately block the move by the Department of Homeland Security. Under the order, those students already enrolled must now transfer to another school or lose their legal status here in the United States, something one Chinese student describes as devastating. Listen.
So basically, it's a mixture of like shock, then to kind of just, devastation, like frustration, and then uncertainty, anxiety, it's a combination of all of those feelings, I would say, among students in the community right now.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the order comes after Harvard refused to turn over records of foreign students, and she warns other universities should take notice. Let's bring in CNN crime and justice correspondent Caitlin Polans. She's here with me in the Situation Room. Caitlin, what more can you tell us about this lawsuit?
Well, Wolf, this may be the big one. The administration of Donald Trump versus one of the most significant.
And I guarantee you, he got some of the smartest people in his administration plotting his next plan, the next thing that they're going to take away from him, the next thing that they're going to get into him. And let me say this also. I know y'all think that these universities stick together. They're competing. They'll never openly say it, but universities are competing for the best, the brightest, and also more funding, research funding. They have to compete against each other for research funding from the federal government. They got to compete against each other for the best international students. You think that the other universities are not going to comply, or they're not going to look to compete against you and then take advantage of the fact that you want to fight the good fight? These universities are not sticking together. They're not an alliance. They want your federal funding. They want your programs. They want your students. They want your tuition. They want all of the student body. They want your funding. Harvard, I thought Harvard was smarter than this, honestly.
Significant cultural institutions in the United States, academic
Thank
institution,
you, Cardi.
Harvard University. This is a case where Harvard says what the administration has already done yesterday by revoking its ability to have foreign students as part of its programs on campus, that it is an immediate and devastating effect to this university. They say there are more than 7,000 students on their campus with visas, many of them expecting to come back to campus in the summer and fall semesters, starting now, essentially, starting in the next couple weeks, in the next couple months, and that the immediate effect is going to be on academic programs, research laboratories, clinics, and courses that Harvard has. They say there's going to be thrown into disarray. And if Harvard loses its ability to have international students, if they must either transfer out of the university or leave the United States, which they say that's what the effect is right now, without international students, quote, Harvard is not Harvard. So this suit is very fast moving. The administration is saying that they should be able to do this because allowing a university to enroll foreign students is a privilege, not a right. The administration is very unhappy with Harvard over its allowance of having protests on its campus, things like that.
Somebody in the chat says, I feel this may be overreach, though just being objective. Oh, we're not talking about whether it's overreach or not. It very well may be overreach, 100%. I do not disagree with you whatsoever. That's not the argument that I'm making. That's not the conversation that we're having right now. The argument and the conversation that we're having right now is whether or not you want to be the one to be catching the L. If you want to ruin the university's reputation, if you want to, because regardless of what happens, if you don't think that international students and their parents are going to be rethinking everything that they thought about Harvard, then you are crazy. The conversation, that's an entirely different conversation. That's an entirely different live stream. I'm not saying that it isn't government overreach. That's a conversation to be had, 100%. And we can even explore it tomorrow because I'm doing a live stream tomorrow. And so we can kind of go off the cuff. The thing that I'm asking is, do you think that they're going to then come out of this thing without, let's say hypothetically that Harvard wins the lawsuit? Because you know another one is coming. You know another ban is coming, another fight is coming, another lawsuit is coming, all of that stuff, right? Let's say, for example, Harvard wins this one, wins the next one, wins the next one, and then loses the next one. They are going to, at some point, cave, fall, lose. Best case scenario, you come out of this with crazy battle scars, limping, and after getting mauled by a federal tiger. Best case scenario, you come out of this thing limping. This reminds me of remember during Biden administration and during the lockdowns and stuff like that, and people was like, oh man, it's government overreach. I can't believe that you can't say COVID, or you can't talk about the vax, or you can't do this. Stand up to them, say it. And I was just looking. I was just looking at people. I was like, you got it. YouTube had came out temporarily for a time and came up with some stricter penalties and was like, listen, if you curse or you say these words within the first 7 to 15 seconds of the video or the stream, that's going to get demonetized and all of that stuff. I was just looking at people. Guess what? Those same people that was sitting there advocating while other people was getting banned and they was losing their channels and losing their monetization, they ain't nowhere to be found. They ain't nowhere to be found. I seen all kind of people getting banned. I seen Rizza Islam getting banned. I seen a whole bunch of people losing their channel, getting banned, and all of that. I was just looking at people. I was like, you got it. Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight, big dog. You got it. Stand up against the man. Whole nother administration, whole nother group of people, they still demonetizing. Ain't nobody coming back to save them. All of them people that was rah-rahing and putting that battery in their back, They moved on. They still watching you. They watching other content creators that's monetized, that adjusted. They watching other people that adjusted. I ain't listening to nobody put no battery in my back. I'm gonna make it ain't about whether Rizza Islam is good. We not talking about that. We're talking about whether or not you want to be the one to catch the L over certain things. I believe that certain fights, let me just say this. I believe that certain fights are worth fighting. I believe that certain fights are worth fighting. The question that you have to ask yourself when you have that conversation is, what is it going to cost you? And is it worth paying a penalty for it? I think about that all the time. I think about, for example, and this is wide reaching. I think about, for example, how somebody in the next room going crazy. I think about, for example, how I think about the civil rights movement, for example, right? Or I think about how people died for your right to vote. You know what I'm saying? Just in a vacuum, just in general. I think about how people died for your right to vote. And I think to myself, like, considering that you have such low voter turnout rates in urban communities, or Black people only vote one way, or people sometimes come up here and say, man, it don't even matter. I ain't voting. I don't even care about voting. And I be thinking to myself, well, what if the people could see, let's say they're in heaven and they looking down and they paying attention to what the impact was of the things that they sacrificed. If they knew what the problem would be, would they still do it? You see what I'm saying? Would they die knowing that they're trying to do something so somebody else could have the opportunity to take advantage of it? Would Martin Luther King would have sacrificed his life knowing that people are more racist than ever before? Would people have put their head on the guillotine if they had the foresight to be able to see and predict in the future how it was going to be different than what they died for? Would they have been a martyr? You see what I'm saying? And that's why I say I pick and choose my battles, because it's my father said this to me one time and it stuck with me. It was one of the biggest lessons that ever stuck to me. He said, Anton, it's not always about what's right or wrong. It's about what's conducive. And he said that to me because I always used to challenge and stand on what's right or whatever. And he said, Anton, if it doesn't translate into it actually impacting people in a positive way, if you're just doing it just to be considered right versus you doing it to be impactful, then make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Make sure it's worth the sacrifice. And it changed my perspective on everything. It changed my perspective. It changed the way I communicated. It changed the way I interacted with people in real life. It changed the way I networked. It changed me. It changed as far as how I deal with women, the arguments that you pick and choose versus the stuff that you don't care about and you keep it moving. It changed everything. Changed everything. And so now, and this is one of the reasons why you got to have a strong father in your life too, because you need to evaluate how it's going to impact you. Is it worth it? If somebody steps on your shoe, and I know that we're going down a rabbit hole here, but I'm trying to make a point. If somebody steps on your shoe and you spent $110 for these Air Force Ones, right? And they scuff it up. And I say, man, shit. Dang, bro, I just got these. I could confront them, right? And they know they stepped on my shoe and they looking at me. And it could be just off of standing off a principle respect thing. And I could risk it and I might win and go to jail. And this is the way that my brain works. And it's like it works like in a split second and I evaluate all of my options at the same time. Or I might fight them and I might still lose. Or I might fight them and I might win. And then they could come back and shoot me because they were standing your ground. And then when we got to court, They may get off because they may say it's no reason for you to have fought somebody over a scuff over an Air Force One, and it could escalate. Or if he apologized, I could just walk away and say, you know what? No big deal, big dog. Or I could make it a bigger deal than it really is because it's only $110 and I got way more than $110 that's sitting here right now, right? I got hundreds of $10 just in fives and tip money. Or if he's beefing and he really won't smoke, I could still walk away and I can go home to my family and I can go and buy another pair of Air Force Ones. All I'm saying is I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what to stand for, depending on what the circumstance is. All I'm saying is pick and choose your battles carefully, wisely, and understand that you're not going to be able to redo it again. Understand that you're not going to be able to do it again. Some stuff is worth the fight, but it's got to really be meaningful and it's got to change something. It's got to be impactful. Other things is not worth it. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification. If a dude is ready to crash out over the fact that he stepped on your shoes, and it's probably best to walk away from that type of person in the first place. They don't have nothing to lose. They're gonna be in jail. That's how I kind of how I reason with it. You know what? He probably gonna be in jail, or he gonna run up on somebody that ain't got nothing to lose, same as him. You got it, big dog. Nah, no big deal. It's cool. And most people are generally polite, to be honest with you. Like most people, if you're polite to them, they ain't even on that type of energy. Even if they are an evil person, even if they're a negative person, if you show love to most people 9 times out of 10, they ain't even on that type of time. No, it's cool, big dog. Even the strongest, the wildest killers have a level of respect for other people that are polite. Tony Pickney Jr. says, man, my New Orleans people didn't take anything serious. They started a whole sports betting parlay on who's next inmate to get caught before Friday. Who's going to be the last man standing? More Knowledge says, for the laughs, the gems, and the consistency. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, More Knowledge. They call me Mr. Bibb. Says, good morning. It's your newest Detroit feminine coach in the house. Darwin Harper says, keep fulfilling your purpose, my brother. Thank you, Darwin. Service USA says, just renewed my Patreon membership for the year. Shout out to you. Thanks for everything you do. Keep the likes up. Class E in the building says, AD, salute. I appreciate the birthday wishes. Thank you for the daily inspiration and for being the picture of consistency and hard work. You the GOAT for real, and continued blessings to you and the family. Y'all got his likes up. Class E is the realest one ever, bro. He one of the realest people ever. Salute to him. Everybody wish Class E, if you haven't already, a happy birthday. I appreciate you. Yep, and this is merely year 1. Go ahead and comply, says Thomas Taylor. AWOL says, black women have used all of the DEI and racism claims up. It's like running spades too early and they didn't get to turn that 10. They tried to run a flight. Now they want that blind 6 and they trying to catch up. Travis says, the caveat to transfer is unusual and hilarious, but Trump has the right to revoke a visa for any reason and he uses the tools available to him. Yeah, you might as well not even fight that fight. You might as well not fight that fight. When Kamala Harris and them was in the office, we complained, but we adjusted. We complained and we adjusted at the same time. He's also threatening 50% tariffs on the EU as talks have hit the wall. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me go ahead and share some of this, and then we're going to deep dive into tariffs for 10 minutes. All right. Let's get to it, y'all.
News is going to move markets too in a significant way. Breaking news on the push for U.S. trade deals. President Trump says that talks with the European Union are hitting a brick wall and is now looking to take action. He said this about an hour ago, quote, Our discussions with them are going nowhere. Therefore, I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting on June 1, 2025. That's about 9 days from now. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the United States. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent here exclusively. And good morning to you, Mr. Secretary. And thanks for being here.
Morning, Bill.
On what has turned out to be a rather busy news day. And good morning to you. You were just in Canada the last few days meeting with members of the G7, the EU, and I want to get into all of that. But with regard to this move on the EU, how bad was the conversation in Canada to lead to this?
Well, the conversation in Canada was fine. The problem is the lead up to that. The 90-day pause on the April 2nd tariffs was based on countries or trade blocs coming to us and negotiating in good faith. And I believe the president believes that the EU proposals have not been of the same quality that we've seen from our other important trading partners. I've said there are 18 important trade deals that we have to do. I'm working mostly on Asia, and that group has move forward with some very interesting proposals. They're negotiating in good faith. We've already inked a deal with the UK. I think there are a couple more coming in the near future. So I think this is in response just to the EU's pace.
Let me get back to that in a moment. I mentioned June.
All right, so let's revisit the conversation. This is one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you're tuning into the Millionaire Morning Show every single day. If you miss a day, you then miss some insight. Shout out to Sean and the one. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. All right. This is the reason why if you miss a day, then you're going to be behind. All right. So I'm going to do a little bit of a recap. What did I say was important for them to get done first? Was the UK, right? Why was it important for them to get the UK on board first? Well, the reason that it was okay for them to get the UK on board first is because, and Asian countries, was because it was going to serve as a waterfall agreement for setting up all of the rest of the things that every other country had to do in order to comply with the United States of America. You want to negotiate your strongest and your best deal with the people that are the most compliant, and that is the United Kingdom. Well, how does that then affect other conversations? It's the same way that happens when it comes to the UAW, Unifor, Teamsters, and how they negotiate with different industries or people within the industry. For example, the big three, and this has been a negotiating tactic since the beginning of time, all right? They start off with the strongest partner that could be hurt the most, but absolutely have to do a deal, and then that serves as the framework for other automakers when it comes to negotiating the best deal as far as making sure that the union get their raises, their benefits, the pensions, whatever healthcare coverage, whatever that looks like, right? They usually start off with Ford or GM. That serves as the framework to then do a deal with Ford, whoever it was, Ford next, and then Chrysler. And then often at times, the UAW or Uniform, they mimic whatever that contract is. Unifor is the union over in Canada. They mimic whatever that contract is so that they can make sure that they're using that as leverage to say, hey, listen, we did a deal with them. They about to start back opening. You really want to make sure that you rock out with us. Often at times what the companies will do is, even though they're competitors, so Ford may be a competitor to General Motors. General Motors may obviously be a competitor to Chrysler. They're working together. So the leadership of those companies know that they have negotiations coming up with the UAW, and all their contracts expire at the same time. So they all work together. They make sure that they take out a line of credit so that they can sustain themselves through union negotiations. They knew that Biden was going to get out there and be propped up as an organizational, as a figurehead so that he could try to get the endorsement of the UAW, so on and so forth. I will also go further and tell you that it doesn't just serve as a waterfall agreement for the big three. It serves as a waterfall agreement for other industries, and it serves as a waterfall agreement for suppliers. The UAW also organized suppliers, people that contribute into the UAW that makes parts. They also organize steel manufacturing and so on and so forth. That's why when they then negotiated their deal with the big three, as a part of Local 600. So Local 600 is a UAW local that then serves to unionize in a specific industry or a specific city or a specific facility. The deal that they did with Ford Motor Company then affected the deal that they did with the steel manufacturer that obviously was Ford Steel, which changed into Rouge Steel, which changed into Severstal and all of that. But the local steel, it then affected everything. I mean, all the way down to the facilities that we can use, the workout facilities, all of that stuff. So they always want to tackle the biggest deal first and then start to have that waterfall over. And then once they get that deal, they also have leverage over that person and say, well, listen, if you don't do business with us, then we're going to do this, and we're going to have a conversation with our friends over here that we just did a deal with, and we're going to prevent them from being able to do business with you also. It's all interconnected. So that's why when Scott Bessent is over here and he's talking to you about the trade deal with the EU and they saying that it's not going anywhere, well, the EU, I'm sure they proposed some changes and they proposed some updates, but they didn't know that they had a deal over here. And so the United States of America is going to compare it with what it is that they got over here, because they're not going to give you a break when they done already got their strongest partnerships together. Why would they give you a break? And the people that's complying and doing business with them, who's benefiting also, they're going to be like, hey, wait a minute. How come they get a better deal than we did? So now you're going to be the last man standing, and this is what's happening with the UK. I'm sorry, the EU.
And first and 9 days away. Is there an opportunity for negotiations in these 9 days?
Well, I'm not going to negotiate on TV, but I would hope that this would light a fire under the EU, because, Bill, I've said before, EU has a collective action problem here. It's 27 countries, but they're being represented by the one group in Brussels. So some of the feedback that I've been getting is that the underlying countries don't even know what the EU is negotiating on their behalf.
On Apple, there is more news too on that. Okay, here we go. On Truth Social an hour ago, I've long informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones will be sold in the United States of America, will be manufactured and built in the U.S., not India.
Myron, UAW stands for United Auto Workers. Stands for the United Auto Workers. All right, so it's an automotive union, but they also represent different industries like steel.
Or any place else. If that's not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the United States. So we've got 2 tariff threats in about 10 minutes' time. I understand that Tim Cook was at the White House this week. Did that conversation not go well?
Again, I wasn't in on that conversation. I also saw Tim this week. So, again, the president is trying to bring back precision manufacturing to the U.S. And, I think that one of our greatest vulnerabilities, are this external production, especially in semiconductors, and a large part of Apple's components are in semiconductors. So we would like to have Apple help us make the semiconductor supply chain more secure.
What I found interesting in Saudi Arabia last week was that the president called out Tim Cook for not being there. Now, you know that high technology companies, it takes time to move those production facilities. What's realistic for Apple?
Again, I don't know from company to company, so we'll have to see. I do think that Apple started moving a big portion of their supply chain out of China during COVID, when China proved to be, an unreliable partner.
Yeah, they moved it over to India. That's why they started fostering better relations with India. And a few other countries outside of that, but they were fostering better relationships with India.
Okay, so we'll see where that goes, and waiting a reply perhaps from Tim Cook, and maybe that comes today. On the big, beautiful bill, it passed in the House, but it only passed by a single vote. And some suggest that now's the hard part. Here's Senator Ron Johnson out of Wisconsin on what's expected next on the Senate side.
I've already said it, in its current state is completely unacceptable to me. What was not even brought up in the House debate are the numbers we ought to be considering.
The president said that he wants this passed ASAP. Are you worried that he's going to be upset at the Senate?
I couldn't care less if he's upset. I'm concerned about my children, my grandchildren, and the fact that we are stealing from them.
As you listen to that, it's going to be a battle. How much change can the president accept on the Senate revision?
Well, I think we're going to see. The House had been working on their bill for a year, and I know the Senate, led by Leader Thune, is going to take this up.
Somebody said Tim Cook is going to be out of Apple soon. Well, eventually they all retire. But here's the thing. Why is it in Tim Cook's best interest to make sure that he negotiate effectively with the United States of America? Because Tim Cook doesn't have just a regular job. You got to remember that Tim Cook's compensation, and the reason why these CEOs and these executives make so much money, is not based off of whatever their base pay is or what they get paid out in as far as cash. It's not it. It's based off of the equity that they have inside of the company. They often at times get stock options. That's a part of their compensation that they cannot sell for an extended period of time. What does that do? It makes sure that they're doing the things that's in the best interest of the company long term, because you are going to be affected by whatever the fortunes are of Apple. So Tim Cook eventually leaving Apple doesn't matter. Do you know why Steve Ballmer is considered the best CEO, or not the best CEO, the best sports owner in all of basketball? The reason that Steve Ballmer is considered the best CEO in all of basketball is because Steve Ballmer's net worth continues to balloon with the success of Microsoft even after he left the company. That's why. It's because he had the capacity to spend on whatever it is. That's why he built the whole arena with his own money. He built the whole arena with his own money because he has the ability to do so, because his Microsoft stock and his interest is largely still tied to the success of the company. And that's why they want you to do the thing that's in the best interest of the company long term. That's why your compensation is set up the way that it's set up. You are long going to be impacted by the decisions that you make on the behalf of the company forever, as long as you live. Bill Gates still holds a huge percentage in Microsoft. He still holds a huge percentage in Microsoft. That's how he's able to fund the majority of his other initiatives, because he still gets a lot of money from Microsoft. You see what I'm saying? So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Shout out to Sean, and the one says, thank you for dropping knowledge that should be common sense in modern times. Hashtag think before acting. I like that profile picture. So you really rocking with the Knicks. Really rocking with the Knicks. Well, listen, if the Knicks win, then that means that the Pistons was probably better than a lot of the teams that the Knicks just beat. What the Knicks just beat? Beat Boston? Boston didn't even compete nearly as good as the Pistons did against the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks. They got a dogfight dealing with Indiana. And shout out to you, Sean, and the one. I thank you and I appreciate you. All right, y'all. Let's move over for a second and let's talk about homes really quickly. And then I want to introduce to y'all Google's new tool that they just released that allows for them to create video with audio. It's crazy. But before we get into that, let's talk about mortgages and mortgage supplies and the supply of homes, and also the mortgage industry bracing for a shakeup from the Trump administration. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me share my screen with you, and then we're going to deep dive into it for a second. And make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. For real, for real. All right? Let's get to it.
For the housing market, it's not just interest rates rising today. You can see that's putting pressure across the builders, but the number of homes for sale in this country is also really surging. Diana Olick is here with some exclusive new numbers. Hi, Diana.
Hey, Kelly, and you and I have been talking a lot about this already, the steady rise of homes for sale. But we asked Redfin for the very latest national read and to drill down on some major markets. Some of the numbers are really stunning. Now, nationally, inventory is up 18% from a year ago and has hit the highest level since the start of 2020, pre-pandemic. And speaking of, when you look at where inventory is soaring even more, it's in some of those markets that were super hot during the pandemic, like Phoenix, Denver, Dallas, Miami, Las Vegas. These markets are now seeing prices weaken dramatically, with some going negative from a year ago. The jump in listings is not just more new listings, but homes not selling, just sitting on the market. Now, prices lag sales by about 3 months, so we are likely to see even bigger price drops in these cities over the summer. There are, however, some markets that are not seeing big jumps in supply, and these are, of course,
Ooh, I see you, Detroit. I see you, Detroit. The inventory is going down. That means that it's actually a hotter market. I see you, Detroit. Yeah. All right. So this is the supply of homes. If you're telling me that there's a 53% jump in Seattle, Oakland, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Denver, Dallas, Miami, Boston, Washington, D.C., and Charlotte, most of those places are liberal places. Well, you knew D.C. was going to be hit. D.C. was going to be hit because it's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuses being rooted out over there. I also know that there's a lot of people that are leaving Texas, right? There's a lot of people leaving Texas. Why is a lot of people leaving Texas? Well, one of the reasons why a lot of people are leaving Texas is because Californians couldn't hack it. I see so many videos of people saying, "Hi, we moved to Texas because, during COVID or whatever, so on and so forth, or we moved for a better life and all of this stuff to make more money, but we just couldn't take it. We just couldn't hack it. We can't handle the humidity, or we can't handle this, or we can't handle that, or the Texas way or whatever, and they got better taxes." But they just said that they love the California lifestyle. It's a lot of people that are leaving that say that they enjoy the California lifestyle. A lot of people. Let me see something real quick. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's a lot of people that's saying that they can't take it. It's the California lifestyle. So let's continue.
There are, however, some markets that are not seeing big jumps in supply, and these are, of course, mostly in the Midwest, where homes are most affordable and sales are still strong. That's your Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago. Now, New York City is a weird one because it is so pricey, but you're seeing a lot of new demand in the city because of return to office orders and a relatively new tech presence. Sales were way up there in the first quarter of this year. Now, just to note that we did see a little surge early this morning in mortgage demand from home buyers, but that fell back last week when rates jumped up near 7% again. Today's buyers are extremely
I'm sorry. Thank y'all for letting me know I'm muted. I told y'all that the biggest opportunities were going to be in places where the homes are the most affordable. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The biggest opportunity is going to be where the homes are the most affordable. Okay? Don't go and buy condos down in Miami. Don't go down there. Don't go and you know what I'm saying? It's going to be different places for different reasons. Over in New York City, people are having to go back into the office, and so now they're ready to move back into the city. Stuff like that. But the biggest opportunities are going to be where the homes are the most affordable. What else did I say? Look at the map. Detroit literally is leading the nation. I tried to tell people, they don't want to listen to me. Detroit is leading the nation in inventory shortages because people are buying up everything and they are starting to move back and they're starting to invest in it. But nope, people don't want to hear me. They want to wait until stuff is already built up. They want to adjust when everything is starting to adjust. Nope. All right. Okay. I warned you. You missed out on all of the equity. You missed out on the growth. You missed out on your opportunity to get rich. Is leading the nation. And I didn't even watch this video before. is leading the nation in the place where it's running up the biggest bag. They don't want to hear me though. I said go to Cleveland. They didn't want to listen to me. I said go to the D. They didn't want to listen to me. Okay, all right. Well, then go ahead and wait and see for yourself. They saying that the mortgage market is about to brace for a Trump shakeup. And I don't know how true that is, but I'm gonna find out. Let's review the video and then let's see what's happening out here. And then I want to share with y'all something else before we move over to the next part of the stream. Let me go ahead and share my screen and let me play this for y'all. I haven't seen this video yet either.
In the business of insuring mortgages in this country. Government is always the problem, never the solution.
Nashville
and Fannie
has already
Mae
been
and
built up,
Freddie
bro.
Mac could finally be headed for a major spin off or spin out of the federal government. President Trump announcing on Truth Social, quote, I am giving very serious consideration to bringing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac public and will be making a decision in the near future. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are doing very well, throwing off a lot of cash, and the time would seem to be right. Stay tuned.
Federal Housing Finance Agency head Bill Pulte appeared on Mornings with Maria to discuss the potential move. Watch this.
Well, we finally have an administration that cares about these two companies. These are huge companies.
That's
And
crazy.
other presidents have, in my opinion, totally neglected these massive, massive companies which the U.S. taxpayers benefit from. So we are focused on making positive changes, and the employees love it.
Do those positive changes include getting them out of the grasp of government?
Well, we'll see. You know, there's many options that the president could do, and the president ultimately will be the one who will make this decision. So I would defer to him on that.
And with us now is Structured Finance
crazy.
Association
I didn't
CEO
anticipate that.
Michael Bright.
You know what? I didn't. Let me stop. I did kind of anticipate it. Somebody then gave me a little birdie in the ear. I don't know how I can benefit from it, but I did kind of hear a little bit of something about it.
Michael, thanks for joining us. So looking at this, the possibility, what this could mean, not only for the agencies, the government entities that they are, but for the markets.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys again. I haven't been on since Duffy left. We all miss him. I think he's a little bit busy these days, but dang, good to see you again. Look, the president's the president's post last night did take a lot of people by surprise. You know, a lot of the other folks in the administration, including FHFA Director Pulte, had been saying that this was something they were going to look into. It was going to be methodical. It was going to make sure that it didn't impact mortgage interest rates in a material way. So I think the president took some folks by surprise with that post, but we're taking it seriously and looking at where this is going to go. And I think the path and where we're actually headed is most important. So you want to make sure that you protect the mortgage bond market so that you don't jack up interest rates for borrowers. You want to make sure we don't return to the pre-2008 structure where the taxpayers did have to bail these companies out. And you really want to ring fence the companies a little bit to make sure that they're focusing on the activities they're supposed to be doing. So hopefully that's part of the agenda here.
Jay Ben says HOAs need to be abolished and bring back community. Well, you can't really abolish them, Jay Benz, and I'll tell you why. So, for example, if you think about condos, right? Condos can't be individually maintained. They have to be maintained by a collective, especially if you're talking about a building, right? Who's going to pay the maintenance? Who's going to pay for the upkeep? Who's going to pay for the grass? Who's going to pay for the workers? Who's going to pay for all of that stuff, right? So unless you moved all of the buildings and condo facilities in the buildings into being apartments, then you wouldn't be able to justify just paying the mortgage itself. So an HOA is always going to exist. Now, when it comes to the individual locations, let's say, for example, you got a community. Well, if you want somebody to govern the quality of the neighborhood and you think that that's worth paying for, then you'll pay it. Me personally, I never, ever. It's supposed to be a security and a maintenance operation, Lisa, and I never, ever buy a place that requires for me to pay an HOA. I'm not doing it. As an investor, as a person that is a homeowner, I personally don't want to buy. Only time I buy land is in a place where it's no HOA. That's it. The only time that I buy land is in a place that's not an HOA. I refuse. I refuse. And I've seen some HOAs be as high as $1,000, $2,000 a month, $500 a month, depending on where you are. And I'm like, I've seen them like $1,000 and $2,000 inside of certain buildings, and they pretty rich buildings. And I'm like, man, I just can't imagine paying no $2,000 a month in home and HOA fees on top of property taxes. Man, get the heck out of here, bro. Distinguished gentleman says it's rare nowadays not to have an HOA. Not to me. Not to me. I don't believe in HOAs. I was helping my homegirl from a real estate perspective, and every single thing that she looked at had an HOA. And I said, stay away from that. Be patient. Go and look at a place that actually don't have HOAs. You'll be very, very much appreciative as a result of it. So nope, I don't believe in HOAs. I only have one property personally that got an HOA, and I pay a very small amount. I think I pay like $50 a month or something like that. And I've owned that property since the late 2000s. Yeah, I've owned that property since like the late 2000s, and I think I still pay only like $50 a month or something like that. As a matter of fact, let me look it up. HOA. I don't even know. I don't even know if I got the bookmark for it. Let me go with my Gmail. HOA. I might have got erased. It's just I don't owe nothing right now. But anyways, I'll stay on top of this whole Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae possibly going public. And got frozen for a second there. One more thing that I want to share with you guys. Geo Ray Sean says early 2000s, a McDonald's closed down in a black neighborhood in Long Island for very similar reasons. Drive-through crack sales lasted 10 years. Johnny C says, would you recommend living in Detroit? Yes, but only in certain neighborhoods. Only in certain neighborhoods. I like Sherwood Forest. I like Boston Edison District. Anywhere downtown, Midtown, Corktown. You can even start to extend over into Mexican Town a little bit. Anywhere up Jefferson is going to be really great and beneficial. I also like what is it? Indian Village. It's some really nice places. And then anywhere in Metro Detroit. All right, so Detroit surrounding areas. Do not move to Pontiac. Pontiac is the only laggard in Oakland County, in my opinion, where you don't really want to move into. You don't want to really buy it because they got to fix that up. They still being policed by the county. They still don't even have their own police department yet. So not Pontiac, but anywhere in Oakland County. You can also go in Grosse Pointe. Livonia is good. Farmington Hills, West Bloomfield, all of the athletes and all of the super rich people. The place that's really like the big dog place. This is where all of the Detroit Lions, most of the Pistons, most of the Tigers, Red Wings, and all of that, they all stay in Birmingham, Michigan. Birmingham is like, I tend to think that it's overpriced. I think it's overpriced. They all stay in Birmingham, Michigan. And Birmingham, again, is a suburb of Detroit, but it's like the super high-end suburb. That's where you're going to find all of the Ferrari dealerships and the Bentley dealerships and the Porsche dealerships and all of that stuff. Yeah, we got a really nice thing, man. We got a really nice thing. English Village is nice. Molly, no. So Birmingham is like I live in Birmingham. It's like, oh, you live in Birmingham. You got some money. It is overpriced, and it's overpriced to keep the dusties out. Oh, you got some money. You stay in Birmingham. Birmingham, they got a lot of old money over in Birmingham. So a lot of times what they'll do is, like Birmingham is right next to Cranbrook. Remember on 8 Mile where he says, oh, you went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. And Clarence's parents had a really good marriage. Cranbrook is over near there, okay? So it's Anton, would you ever move out there? Would I ever move out where? In the Birmingham? Bloomfield Hills is popping. Bloomfield Hills is dope. Would I ever move out to Birmingham? No, it ain't that Birmingham. It's a really high-end Birmingham. I would move out to Birmingham if I just got the right property at the right price. I don't feel the need to have to pay high property taxes to be in a certain area. I like Detroit. I love downtown Detroit. I think downtown Detroit is where it's at. I would live in West Bloomfield before Birmingham. I would live in it just got to be the right price. It's got to be the right property, the right price. I don't feel as though I need to pay to live where the who's who is or nothing like that. Honestly, I think that the biggest opportunity is going to be in Southfield. Yep. The biggest growth opportunity is going to be in Southfield. It's got the best freeway access. It's right there next to Detroit. It is in Oakland County. The city council is working really hard to make it conducive. The Northland Mall is being rebuilt up as condos and mixed retail. And then you got a brand new building that's going up. I think that Southfield is the next it spot. 100%. Southfield is going to explode. If they can figure out how to manage the property taxes more effectively, then that's going to be where it's at. He said too many females in Southfield. Southfield is it. Southfield is the next explosion area. And I'm not just saying that because I own a lot of property in Southfield either. But Anton should move to Texas. Nope. The only place that I would consider at this point is maybe Puerto Rico for the tax situation if I could figure that out for 6 months out of the year. But nah, I'm straight. I'm a Michigan boy. White folks want downtown back. Y'all don't something. I don't know what that means. I wouldn't move. Commerce is great. It's a little far. It's a little further out. Commerce, White Lake, Waterford, all of those places are great. Commerce is awesome. It's like you're getting towards the edge of Oakland County. Once you start getting towards Highland, Michigan, then you're starting to get towards the edge. Don't tell a man time. My home is in Southfield. Southfield is popping. Southfield is popping. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and move over into the next thing. Yeah, I don't know about that Lions Super Bowl. I'm not trying to get arrested. Anton, I can see. Nah, I would never own a ranch in Texas. I wouldn't do it. You went to Southfield Christian High School, lived there for a few years in the late 90s. That's what's up. That's what's up. So shout out to all of my Michigan people. It's popping. Oh, I love Pittsburgh. I absolutely love Pittsburgh, Jay Reed. Pittsburgh is where it's at. I love Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh. Let me tell you what the problem is with Texas, and then I'm gonna spin over to this next subject. The problem for me personally in Texas is Houston is your largest city, but I don't like Houston because the way that the city is laid out is dumb. It takes an hour to get from one side of the city to the next, depending on traffic. Downtown is not popping, but the Galleria is, and it's a liberal city. And it was a sanctuary city. That's so dumb. Why would you be a sanctuary city in Texas? And Dallas, I like Dallas a lot better than Houston. But Dallas is very zesty. It's a lot of zest in Dallas. They have a lot of restrictions. You can't do Airbnbs anymore in certain areas and all of this stuff. It's a much smaller city. But they're sports teams. You know what I'm saying? Like The Dallas Mavericks is in the city, but the Dallas Cowboys is in Arlington. I don't understand it. It's so dumb. And so I haven't figured out a city that I would like to live in. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like that. Yeah, I heard gambling. A lot of gambling is coming to Dallas as a result of him selling the team. So anyways, let me move over into this next thing. Have y'all seen this? I want to share this with y'all really quickly. And then y'all tell me what y'all think about it. All right. Check this out. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane.
I don't know if I'm on the right path, but I'm trying to find it. I'm questioning, searching, and then something shifts and I'm not trying anymore. I'm just doing. And all of the pieces start falling into place.
It all feels pretty clear in my head. I see these like flashes.
I'm not going to play the music. I'm just going to play it. Look at this jump. Every last one of these videos are AI. All of this is text to prompt to create videos with audio in it is AI. I think Google is just practically cracking the code, bro. Honestly. This is insane. It's insane what they're able to do with AI now, bro. They now have created it to where you can write prompts to create videos with realistic audio, and you can do it all with AI. Yo, marketing departments are about to be in chaos right now. Honestly, marketing departments are about to be in chaos right now. They not messing around, bro. I just couldn't believe some of the stuff that they was presenting with this new VO3 and these new releases that they got over here with AI, bro. It's crazy. I was looking at the keynote. Let me see if I can find the keynote. Over, bro. Over, bro. Here.
Whether you're a creator, a musician, or filmmaker, generative media is expanding the boundaries of creativity. By working closely with the artistic community since the very beginning, we continue to build technology that empowers their creative process. For example, we worked with musicians to develop Music AI Sandbox. It's a tool for professionals to explore the possibilities of our generative music model, Lyria, in their work. Let's watch a clip starring the legendary Grammy Award-winning singer and composer. Focus on collaboration carries over not just into what we build, but how. Right now, it's not easy for people or organizations to deeply personal story. This partnership also helped shape VO's capabilities to meet the needs of storytellers like Eliza. We built new capabilities for filmmakers. So when you're making a video, it will use ingredients you give it, characters, scenes, or styles, and keep them consistent. Or you can direct VO, giving it precise camera instructions and have it shoot along a specific path. These capabilities help filmmakers fluidly express their ideas with VO.
Let me show y'all some of the videos that they're creating with this stuff. Check this out.
This is fine.
Ready for me to do a 360 no scope?
This new generation is weird.
Thank God for playback. I have no.
This is actual real footage. This is AI generated footage that they are now allowing you for being to create, and it also has voices too. I don't believe nothing that's on the internet no more, bro. If you wasn't already on the internet before 2020, I don't even believe you no more. These are real videos that are created with voice. It's not even just images moving. It's not just pictures. It's videos that's created with voice and AI, bro. This is it. This is it. Robots and this, it's over.
No idea what I'm doing.
You got a marketing degree, you done, bro. Look at this nonsense, bro.
I hate the rain.
The wind moves in weird ways today. How does Tom Cruise do this?
Look how cinematic we are.
Why are you so weird? Here I go to work again.
Thank God we aren't real.
Urge. Today just sucks. No.
But tomorrow is a new day. Keep going, we are nearly there.
But none of this is real?
Isn't this just crazy?
What's crazy? People think we're fake.
You have no idea what I'm capable of.
This isn't a movie, man.
Wonder how long we have to go.
This isn't a real plane, Bob.
Do we have to take over this place?
Nah, not worth it.
I have the high ground. Don't try it.
You underestimate my power.
Jesus fucking Christ. You know where they got that reference from? You have the high ground, don't try it. That's from Star Wars. This is crazy, bro. This is insane, bro. Honestly, it's over. I just think that it's over. When I seen this starting to hit social media and I seen the announcement of this from Google, and I see this race and it's like an arms race. I also seen Sam Altman, which is the CEO of OpenAI. And he was saying that robots is the next frontier. Like robots are going to be the next thing to take over. And the way that he was talking, it was just like, she needs some Pepto-Bismol. The way that it was talking, it was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I think that my generation is the last generation for real life human interaction. I don't know, bro. I don't know. It feels weird, man. It just honestly feels weird. You think so, Molly? It feels weird. It feels very, very weird. And so I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. So I guess we just roll with the punches and we see what happens, right? They got an AI Darth Vader in Fortnite. Danielle S. here. Let me read some of these like this. Danielle S. says, you can tell if a person is AI. The key is in the hair. It lacks texture and detail. Anton, your beard has texture and detail. I agree, Danielle, but that's just right now. It's going to keep improving. That's the problem. The problem is that, look, we had just got to the point where they can generate AI images based off a text to prompt and using AI to find directions and all of this stuff and learn and say certain things. And then we started looking at AI video probably like 6 months ago from OpenAI as far as them creating it. And we seen Coca-Cola try to create an ad with AI that they ran during the Super Bowl. Now they already got audio. Like the people are standing on boats and talking and all of this stuff. It's going to get way different. It's going to get way different. And I'm trying to figure out how to get ahead of it so maybe I can capitalize off of it and all of that stuff. So I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. It's different. It feels weird. It feels very, very weird. I don't like it, honestly. I know it's some parts of it that make our jobs easier and stuff, but I personally don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. So yeah, man, I'm glad to have lived in the era that I lived in so I could see the balance of how life is supposed to be versus what it is. I'm glad I grew up before the social media era. That was a blessing. It's going to be weird in the future. So let me read some of these super chats. Geo Ray Sean says early 2000. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Just saw a Google AI video earlier this morning. Content creation is going to be crazy now. I don't even know how you use it. Hi, Slimmy and Molly, says Johnny C. Property tax should be the only paid when buying a house. Sub-Zero says, what up, AD? Out here in the West, HOAs protect property values, lawn maintenance, community pools, and CC. This is the same thing out everywhere else, but they still get too high. So you're not living next to someone with cars on jack stands and poor upkeep of their home. Not all HOAs are the same. Vintage says this new world is scary. The entire free enterprise economic model is going to change based off of the technological revolution. Abe the Hunter says people need to start learning AI ASAP. Thanks, AD. Finally, no more actors with opinions. It's not good, bro. Travis, that's not good. Vintage says it's going to be a permanent poor class, only being paid through universal basic income. That's absolutely true. I believe that also. Many people won't be working. The country is now an oligarchy. Danielle says you can tell if a person is AI. The key is in the hair, lacks texture and detail. Anton, your beard has texture and detail. Big Coin Brown says, you know how long it would take an editor or an animator to make these videos? Hours, some days, bro. It's over for people that figure out these tools and win. Casual Germ says, in the Terminator universe, there are different time periods where the robots started wars with humans. This could be one of those alternative timelines. Latoya says, hey, Anton, my sister just told me that they're going to have robots as doctors. Robots are already in existence that are monitored by and is assisting doctors. That's already here. Trust me, it's already here. Burner's baby boy says AI should come with an AI advisory sticker. It don't matter. We running head first into our demise. We the only species that will create our demise. I'm thinking about not really posting anything on Instagram like that, except for if I want to post a picture or something. I don't see the point. I don't see the point. I was talking to some people that was on Instagram. I think I'm only going to be posting on YouTube, TikTok, and X. YouTube, TikTok, and X. So I got to show y'all some stuff. I'm doing a live stream as soon as I get back to the crib. And I was sharing this with some people. So if y'all notice, a lot of people that follow me on X, I just got monetized on X. So I started taking it serious. And I also just recently got monetized on TikTok. And so I want to show the bag chasers some stuff. And I'm going to do a live stream on monetization. Give me a second. Let me see something. Could you imagine? No, I'm not gonna share it on this. I'm gonna share it on I'm gonna share it in the Patreon, all right? I'm gonna share it in the Patreon so then I can give y'all the insight. But yeah, so I'm gonna show y'all that and then I'll give y'all the insight. So shout out to the bag chasers, shout out to the Patreon members. We'll go over that and then we're gonna go on there. Vito Royale says, what's your X tag? It's not in the description of the video. Let me see something. Stop sharing. Let's see. It's in the description of the video. All of my social media is in the description of the video. I don't think that I'm going to be posting on Instagram because there ain't no money on Instagram like that. Lions Super Bowl, I'm not going to be unless Instagram figures out how to monetize outside of subscriptions. If they start paying for the videos, and I'll start posting on Instagram. I'm done on Instagram. I'm not going to be posting on Instagram like that no more. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. So all of my social media is in the description. I don't have no duplicate social media. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Faith says, Anton, imagine AI robot nannies that can manipulate the mother's voice for parenting and soothing. I think everything is coming. Everything is coming. Anyways, I'm going to be the first to get my destructive robot. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all on the Millionaire Morning Show. Not the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm going to see y'all in the morning on the Millionaire Morning Show, and then tonight for After Hours. I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later.